Good evening. It's your boy, E.B.N. Back at it with another video presentation. What I want to talk about in this video today is uh, having children, having kids, and why I think in 2022, unless you financially stable, I would not want to have kids. In fact, having kids, people don't realize, is not only a responsibility, but it's damn near a privilege. Like, I don't know why people just think if you have, you know, if you're just intimate with somebody that you're not gonna get a female pregnant. Like, I don't know why people think like if it doesn't happen then it's not impossible. It is possible, and what I noticed with my generation is people even like younger than me already having like 3 kids, and people that are older, they want to have kids, and people that have kids are miserable and unhappy, and some of them wish they weren't even alive. That's how bad children are in society today. Like, people don't want to be even attached to having kids. And me personally, until I'm financially stable and until I'm actually in a good position financially, then I would say I would want to have kids. And I'm at the age. At 21 years old, in 6 months to 7 months, I'll be 22. Right now in my life is the worst time to have kids because I don't have a steady job. I don't even live like in a good area, and the modern woman is gonna fuck up my child to the point where I'm not even gonna raise that nigga or that little girl. And this is my problem with modern women is once a kid is at that age where mommy is the only person he loves and his mom is the only person he cares about, the hell with me. Like, fathers aren't even treated like with respect in the household, especially if you a black man. If you have children and you a nigga, 9 times out of 10, if you marry a black woman, she's not gonna want you to even raise your kids. I've seen it with many couples. I've seen it with my own parents. It goes on in Hollywood. It doesn't matter where, what time you're in, or wherever you live. Having kids with a black woman, or just having kids in general, whatever fucking race you are, it's not the best. Only rich people, I would say, that have kids are a happy family, to me at least. Or a family that, if your parents are like stable enough to raise you, then I would say you got it going in life. But if you're black and your parents happen to be really, really young when they had you, and they're in their mid 40s and 50s, and they still argue about why they even had you in the first place, then you as a child, I would think maybe 3 times before even having kids of your own. Because I just don't think it's the best thing for me. Like, And what's funny too is there are women that look at me like I'm weird because I'm not ready to have kids, you know. But to be honest with you, the majority of women nowadays, if I were to have a kid by them, they wouldn't even allow me to be a fucking father because modern women do not want men to raise boys. You know, they don't want, you know, men like me to raise my own boy. And they want to feminize my boy. They want to turn him into a female, you know, with female traits. And they want him to think like a female. They want him to act like a female. All because he lives with his own mom, you know. That's one way my boy could end up being like that. You know, another way, and this is the most common way, is if I'm not in his life, if he lives with his mom, you know, he's not going to do good in school, probably gangbang, sell drugs on the side of the road, drop out, start killing niggas and shit. You know, for those who do live with their mom, like, when you're a black kid and you have no father figure in your life, you know, the majority of kids, I would say, that want a good future usually have a role model, you know, if they seek one. Because a lot of niggas like me, you know, I just have like older people in my family that I talk to that guide me, which I think a lot of niggas my age do. And I think that's the best scenario. But as far as the majority of people my age, like, it's a very small percent that people even want role models. I mean, since we think we're old enough, we could just guide ourselves and we can't fuck up in life, you know. And usually those are the niggas that have probably like 2 to 3 kids by like 2 different women. And especially with black people, there's a reason why every other race looks down on us because of black women specifically. Because these hoes, they'd have kids with just anybody damn near, you know. Multiple, too. Like, on average, just think to yourself, how many, like, when you see a black woman walking down the street, you should think how many kids she has. Just an estimate. You know, does she look like she's in her mid-30s? Does she look like she's been ran through? Does she look like she has all these no good ass kids with all these nosy ass thug niggas? Because those are the same black women that will reject an average nigga like me. Because going back to women thinking I'm weird because I don't have kids, you know, I'm saving myself a headache. I'm saving myself time, money, energy, and, you know, love for the future, for my kids, if I decide to have some, you know. Why rush into having children, you know? Some people in their late 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, some of them can't even have kids because they've waited, you know, but they've waited too long, you know. With people my age, it's like, you know, you just happen to just fuck a bitch and you never really know the consequences, you know. This is why, like, me, I kind of had to be safe about it. You know, I can't just go fuck a bitch that I don't even know without a condom and then not expect to get her pregnant. You know, because it's gonna happen. Like, it's just bound to happen. You know. But you also got to think of it like this. Sex is for having kids. It's not for you to just hook up with random motherfuckers. that you don't even know. You know, I get women can be horny, more than niggas, but it's like, have some self-respect for yourself. Have some dignity, bro. Like, you know, you need some fucking discipline. You know, close your legs. Like, females, they think if you sleep with like a bunch of niggas that you're the prize. Bitch, you're a fucking doormat. You know. And I was never the type of nigga to go after women who every single nigga liked. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Because 9 times out of 10, she's being ran through by everybody on the football team, everybody in the locker room, all those athletic, aggressive ass niggas. And I'd rather go after the girl who people know, but she doesn't give herself away to men. You know what I'm saying? And women, especially you black women, like, there's a reason why other races of women and men, and just everybody in general, doesn't really respect y'all, because y'all are basically like a pump and dump. Like, the average black woman has like 2 baby daddies, or actually 3, and 4 out of 6 kids. Like, it's at times it's troublesome, and people look at our race like a fucking joke. Especially black women. I don't want to look at y'all like that, but with black women, it's like, to have kids by one nigga is seen as a bad thing. And I'm not saying all black women are like this. In fact, the ones that are very disciplined, they have a steady family, and you could tell by, how they present themselves and shit. But, now, just yesterday with this whole abortion law, I thought to myself, I was going to give my initial thoughts on it, but I don't want people coming for my fucking life. But because of that law now, I'm assuming since you can't get an abortion, you're just gonna have to have the kid. For some women, that's a bitter pill to swallow. Or you could have the kid up for adoption. And other people are saying maybe this is a lesson for people to take more accountability. I can see it from both ways, pro-life and choice. But I can see it more as like a lesson, because there's people that are upset why like abortions are happening, but there's still women that need to go through the procedure for them to decide whether or not that kid should have a life or not. And I can see from both sides, so don't misquote me. Don't use this out of context and use this shit as defamation. But kids nowadays, and it's sad to say this, but to women, kids nowadays are just an accessory. Like, it's basically like a fucking Birkin bag. Kids are not seen as a blessing. To have a child is a good thing, because this is your fucking offspring. This is who you, when you fucking die, this is the motherfucker that's gonna take your fucking place in the family name, you know. But motherfuckers don't think about it like that. Niggas just think, oh, I'm having this baby. Let's throw a baby shower. Let's fucking buy this nigga, or let's buy this girl some gifts. And then when we get older, let's not give a fuck about this nigga and let's leave him and let's abandon him. You know, this is modern parenthood. You know, if you're a parent, be a fucking parent. You know, if you ain't ready to have kids, don't have kids. You know, I went to a high school where the average 16-year-old bitch was pregnant sophomore year. So I already know this shit. And sometimes it kind of disgusts me because, you know, I have a sister that's 17. And God himself would only know what I would do to a nigga that would get my sister pregnant if that were ever to happen at that age. Only God would know. And so, if y'all ever seen that show 16 and Pregnant back in the day, you know, that's just a show, man. But in real life, in reality, when there's no cameras and shit and it's just you and your 16-year-old ass girlfriend or husband or boyfriend, you're gonna realize that taking care of a life and the process of taking care of life is not as easy as you fucking think. And maybe people will now start to really think twice about having children now because of this whole, you know, as some would say, this whole abortion thing is changing how people have kids and think about having kids. And, you know, people will realize to suffer the consequences. Like, I've heard other people say, and these are like Republicans and Democrats, so for those of you that are political, but I've heard even them say that, you know, now that abortion is a thing, that, you know, you're gonna have to suffer the consequences if you didn't want to have kids. You know, you're just gonna have to deal with it. And I could kind of agree. I could kind of disagree. You know. But a moral of this video, just be safe, man. Like, if you're doing it with a bitch, use protection. You know, use birth control. Cause me, I would not even nut in a bitch. Like, I'm just keeping it real. You know, use protection, use all that shit. Because you don't know when you're gonna become a father. You don't know when you're gonna become a mother. And there's this movie that I saw with this girl. She's from Brooklyn, and she was the type of girl that she didn't like really anybody. She was hard-headed. She only gave a damn about herself. And she decides to go to this party, meets this thug nigga, fucks him. Months pass later, and then she realizes she's pregnant. Now, to me, if you ask me, and this is a simple question, whose fault is it really for a female to sleep with a nigga and then not expect her to not have a kid? Whose fault is it? You know, it's not the nigga's fault, because she probably wanted to get fucked. You know, it's the females, because she told that nigga, hey, you know, let's clap cheeks, you know, because I want you to clap my cheeks. Basically what she said. And, you know, sometimes, like, for women, it's mostly the decisions y'all make in life that put you in the situation you're in. And with niggas also, I could say, it's the mistakes you didn't avoid that puts y'all in the situation you're in. Like vice versa. You know, it's not easy, man. Like to raise a kid, don't think of it as something that it's easy and you can't, not avoid. You know, think of it as a human life in your hands. You know, the child could die, or the child could outlive you, whether you live with them or not. You know, but y'all use protection, man. Use condoms, use birth control. Like I said, use all of that shit. You know, if I was on my monk shit right now, I would tell niggas to just be celibate. But niggas gotta fuck. It's programmed in us to fuck. So niggas gotta fuck bitches, and it's only like a nigga thing, and women can't understand. But even women, y'all need to really like choose wisely. Because if you don't choose wisely, like you could fuck up your whole life, like just like that. You know, you could really like mess up your whole future just because of one night. Wow, that sounds pretty deep, but it's your boy E.B.N. Subscribe to the network, share this video, and give me your thoughts. You know, I'm out. Good night.